Welcome to AG Chelsea TV. In this video content, we take a look at the latest Chelsea news and our views on it. All news is collected by us from reliable and quality sources. The Blues endured an abysmal season that saw them use 4 managers and finish outside the top half of the table. Chelsea have numerous issues to address, but one of the prominent reasons for their poor performances was their bloated squad. The Todd Boehly-Clearlake consortium took over Chelsea last summer and signed £600 million worth of new players. To make matters worse, many of the signings did not resolve Chelsea's problems on the pitch. They could run into financial fair play, FFP, trouble if they don't sell players and raise money. Incoming manager Mauricio Pochettino wants to streamline the squad ahead of next season. These departures could bring in around £200 million. Manchester United, along with Bayern Munich and Paris Saint-Germain, are expected to be the main competition for the Nigerian international services, but Crook says that, due to the cost of the transfer, the Blues are the likeliest to sign him. Vlahovic would be cheaper than the other two, but Chelsea are the favourites for Osimhen because of the price. Osimhen's asking price is believed to be €150 million, £129 million, which is expected to put off plenty of potential suitors. Considering that Chelsea need to sell before they buy this summer, it is somewhat surprising to hear Crook say that the London club would be prepared to pay such a high amount. With Mason Mount and Manuel Ugarte seemingly on their way out of Stamford Bridge, though, a sizable portion of Osimhen's transfer fee could be raised from the sale of the two players. Reports suggest that the Blues want between £70 million and £85 million for Mount, and around £40 million for Kovacic. Los Blancos president Florentino Perez and head coach Carlo Ancelotti sat down for crisis talks in the aftermath of their bruising 4-0 Champions League semi-final defeat to Manchester City, according to the Spanish outlet Marca. The pair were said to have discussed future plans that included transfer incomings and have earmarked the Chelsea forward as one of those strikers who could fit in. The news of their interest in Havertz represents the latest in a series of reports linking clubs to high-level talent at Stamford Bridge, following the arrival of Mauricio Pochettino, whose remit, among other things, is to trim the fat of a bloated squad. The German international arrived in 2020 for an eye-watering fee of £76 million, and could join the likes of Mason Mount, Manuel Ugarte and Ruben Loftus-Cheek on their way out of the club this summer. Rio Ferdinand has urged Manchester United to sign Chelsea midfielder Manuel Kovacic this summer. Despite links with a switch to Manchester City, Erik ten Hag is keen to bring midfield recruits ahead of next season. However, a deal for the Croatia international may prove to be difficult. Indeed, as reported by Football 365, Man City are really close to agreeing personal terms with Kovacic. Nevertheless, Ferdinand is adamant Man United should consider an approach. The Chelsea star has just 12 months remaining on his deal at Stamford Bridge. As a result, it seems increasingly likely Mauricio Pochettino will sell him. Man United have been eyeing up a new midfielder for some time. In fact, they have just agreed personal terms with another Chelsea midfielder, Mason Mount. The 23-year-old signed for Juventus in 2022 for €70 million, but has struggled for form during his first full season at the Allianz Stadium. Vlahovic, following 2 seasons in which he managed over 20 Serie A goals, has managed to find the back of the net just 10 times in the league this season. After a disappointing 2022-23 campaign under defensive-minded manager Massimiliano Allegri at Juventus, sources have confirmed to 90 minutes the player has now asked to leave the club. Bayern Munich are very keen to sign the striker, having been without an out-and-out number 9 since the departure of Robert Lewandowski last summer. Manchester United retain an interest in the striker and see him as a first-box option alongside Harry Kane, Victor Osimhen and Lautaro Martinez this summer, while Chelsea are also keeping an eye on the situation too. It's Portuguese newspaper O Jogo who today shares the most exciting updates on Chelsea's pursuit of Sporting midfielder Manuel Ugarte. The outlet today writes that Blues' new manager Mauricio Pochettino is pressuring the club board and the player himself to close the deal as soon as possible. According to O Jogo, the argument Chelsea have on the table is the salary offer worth €3 million after tax, and they now wait for his answer. The Blues are worried about the interest from Paris Saint-Germain, who, just like them, offer €60 million for the transfer and won't give up on the chase. O Jogo says agent Jorge Mendes is in contact with both clubs and there could be a decision on the next few days. What continues to be claimed is that Ugarte has never hidden his wish to play in the Premier League, and that undoubtedly gives Chelsea a little advantage there. Still, it's said the player wants to take safe steps and will take the decision carefully. Sporting want the sale done quickly, as the money from the impending transfer will have big impact in their summer plans, and how they can bolster their own squad. Mason Mount looks increasingly like to leave Chelsea this summer, but the midfielder wanted to stay at his boyhood club. A fresh report from the Evening Standard has revealed that United are now preparing to formally approach Chelsea over a deal for Mount. However, the report also outlines that Mount does not wish to leave the Blues, but has not managed to secure a deal that would give him parity with several other significant members of the squad, such as Reece James, who penned a fresh £250,000 a week deal last year. Chelsea need to sell players this summer after spending in excess of £600 million on transfers since the arrival of Todd Boehly, who purchased the club with Clearlake Capital last year. As Mount is a product of the Blues Academy, any fee received for Mount would be counted in the club's account as pure profit, which would be beneficial for Chelsea as they bid to stay within the parameters of the financial fair play rules. Chelsea have turned down a £30 million offer from Brighton for young defender Levi Colwill. The 20-year-old impressed for the Seagulls, having spent the season on loan at the Amex Stadium. Chelsea are understood to have rejected a bid from Roberto De Zerbi's side, insisting the player is not for sale at any cost. New Blues boss Mauricio Pochettino is a big fan and is expected to include the left-sided centre-back in his side next season. De Zerbi wants to sign the defender, who made 22 appearances this season, in a permanent deal, but Chelsea are insisting he is going nowhere. Brighton's £30 million bid equals their club record deal for João Pedro, who has already agreed to join them from Watford. Colwill has featured regularly under De Zerbi, and helped the South Coast club to secure Europa League football. And that is also the last content in today's video. If you enjoy the video, please leave us one like and one subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell to not miss the latest content from us.